Oh, my. Okay. Hey, great. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me here on a gorgeous Friday morning in Lincoln, Florida, broadcasting to you live. Um, the day after John Bolton got indicted. Yeah. Wow. One hell of a multiple page indictment there. 18 federal counts on top of several other non federal counts. I think it's 25 total counts or something like that, but it's a lot. Um, I was up late last night talking about it. Thank you, Dwayne, for letting me know that. Yeah, I've been sound issues lately. I think it's all Rumble's fault. I blame Rumble. So anyway, I'm talking about the Bolton pass-through technique that he was using. I first had cause to go and study why Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and Joe Biden and Susan Rice and some of these other people that were top of the Obama administration when Hillary Clinton's private server was revealed, which is well before the 2016 election. We discovered she had a private server, basically a private email network. She was running a lot of email traffic onto and off of that server. And several of the top muckety mucks that were sending traffic to that server um, were using fake email addresses. We know Joe Biden was one of them. I mean, this came out a long time ago. I understand people don't remember this because it's not in the present news cycle. It's like their mind is captive to the present news cycle. It didn't happen in the last couple of months. They don't remember it. But way back in 2015, 2016, into 2017, it was disclosed not only that Hillary Clinton had an illegal private server on which she was trafficking and classified information. Not only didn't we learn that, we learned that people like Barack Obama and Valerie Jarrett and Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and several others who were doing trafficking, they were sending emails via that server while disguising their identities by using fake email addresses. You know, so they'll have a secret private network and they're sending classified information and other really wild shit to each other over this private, off the books, hidden email server network. And we've known about this for a long time now. It's nothing new. Uh, what's new is Bolton. Bolton obviously had a role in this in the secret email club network. It's a big club, and only a select few people are in it. And Bolton was one of them. Yeah. So this has been, if you understand the template, especially if, I'm probably going to lose some of you here, but if you follow Q, and Q was talking about secret email networks, Google, Eric Schmidt, and all the wild and funky stuff that was going on via email. Just when you're, the best way to explain this, give me a second. We don't live in a culture that values intense thought. Have you noticed that? Give me a second. If you're running an ongoing criminal enterprise of astounding magnitude that involves over 2 dozen Western countries, and you're having to hide all of this, the fact that you set up a system that is and corrupt as the day is long, and you're doing all kinds of really vile, evil shit, but you have to maintain a facade. But the facade must be maintained. Then you can't talk about any of the massive amount of illegal criminal shit that you're doing. You cannot use open, not just the open public channels. You can't talk about this to interviews with the press, of course, but you can't even use official encrypted channels, governmental channels, government that you control, even though you control them. You can't even use official government emails and phones to communicate with each other. Just as well, we want a massive criminal international syndicate over the next decade. This is what we're planning in Moldavia for next week. This is what we're planning in Afghanistan. This, okay, you cannot use official channels for this. It's got to be off the books. It's got to be out of sight. So, way back when Hillary Clinton was doing that stupid, what do you mean, like wipe with a cloth? And he's doing that act. I looked into what is, okay, a lot of people were forming opinions. Why is she so desperate to keep whatever was on that server, whatever that server was being used for? Keep that out of the public spotlight and deny everything and wait for it to blow over. And then she can win the election and she go after all these speaking people with a vengeance, as president from the White House. But of course, that didn't happen. He did not win in 2016. He did not win. But anyway, we've known for a long time now these people use email servers to run networks off the books, hidden networks, and they don't operate on these networks in case there's anybody trying to intercept them. They don't come out and use their real name. Hi, this is Joe Biden sending the details of that latest Chinese side deal that we just did. I'm going to send this to my good friend over here in Maryland so we can get a business deal going and invest some of this money. He's not going to use his official VIP email address. He's going to use um, one of the, I believe it's three so far. I may be wrong about that. It may be four. He's going to use one of the three or four fake email names or fake email addresses uh, for that have already been publicly disclosed. They already wrote this out some number of years ago that Biden uses fake names, fake email addresses when he's engaging in all this illegal traffic with his son and the group his son was in, where they were discussing all the illegal bit of the illegal side deals that they were doing. Okay, you don't use your real name, and for God's sake, you do not use your official account for this. Okay, so the template was laid down long ago. People, if they were paying attention, they already understand this. They already understand um, that that when so no, they don't take it beyond the side deals. Yeah, you like Hillary Clinton at the State Department. She went in there, she picked this where, oh, I won't do any deals on the side. I'll be, they gave her the job, and of course, first freaking thing she does is she starts setting up massive amounts of side deals using her server. And she's at the pay for play at the Clinton Foundation. I mean, one of the funnest things for me to do after Trump shocked the world by winning that 2016 election is watching how all the donations precipitously dropped off to the Clinton Foundation. Oh, I enjoyed watching that. Pay for play, bribery. Okay. A lot of people don't take it beyond that. So she's going to be like Secretary of State and she's setting up side deal. Oh, it goes way beyond that. Goes way, way beyond that. And if you're running a massive enterprise, if you're a you're running a massive, ongoing, 100 years long, enterprise centered around 24 or so nations that you gain control of surreptitiously through bribery and rigging their election. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. Okay, I got to try to show you the scope of this. You have an agenda for the world. Where do you want to see things go? You've surreptitiously gained control about 2024, the biggest, most profitable, influential, wealth creating countries of the world. The United States, Canada, France, Germany. Italy, Spain, Australia, gain control of these countries over the past 100 years. And you wanna see things happen. You're trying to move the world towards certain things. It takes a lot of communications if you have an ongoing criminal syndicate in this type of position. It takes a massive amount of coordination to get all your ships in the same direction. That's what I'm trying to say, yes. It takes a massive amount of coordination to make sure that the New Zealand and Australia affiliate are on board with what you're trying to do, and if they understand we're rolling this, and, the 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 UK affiliate, and the Italy affiliate, and the France and Germany affiliates, all the ships must sail in the same direction. Okay, and this takes a massive amount of coordination, and that's what they use emails for. So, the biggest value of emails is it's a written record. You could try. I'm sure there's text messages. I'm sure that they do live phone calls with each other while they're setting stuff up. Here's the election we're rigging in France, to make sure that Macron stays in power a couple of years ago. Here's how we're rigging the election in France. Or here's how we're rigging, the recall election for Newsom in California about 60 years ago. Here's how we're doing that. Okay, they they're not going to use open official channels for this. They talk about this kind of stuff. They're gonna go with an off the book hidden email network. They're gonna coordinate. They need to do it in a way that here's the point I was making. A phone call, you just tell somebody over the phone, and what if they're not that bright? It goes in one ear and out the other. No, this is why written forms of communication are much more effective because it's written down. Like, oh, what did he gave me a list of things to do. What was the third thing? You go check the freaking email. You have a copy of it. It exists. It is text. It is sitting right there. You can go back and refresh your memory. It's kind of hard to do that with a phone call unless you were recording it. And some of your superiors, when killed you and your entire family, found out you were recording it. So, email is highly effective, very effective means of communication if you're running a massive, massive, ongoing, worldwide criminal enterprise. Email can be very effective forms of communication. And it's very effective, and then it will allow you to bring the various different affiliates, get them all coordinated and working together. And it'll work beautifully as long as nobody knows it's there. And nobody's intercepting it. Darn, nobody's intercepting it. I'm gonna tell you the irony of this. I'm going somewhere. I may look like I've lost my train of thought and I'm pausing a lot. I want you to understand I'm going somewhere. And the beautiful, beautiful irony is that so there was a massive cult out there. It stays out of sight. It's been around a long time. They have control of about 24 different major Western countries, and they control different countries to dominate the world and engage in massive amounts of crimes against humanity. They exploit, they murder, they kill, they start war, they pump people full of drugs and accidents, they kill people in a variety of ways. So, just what you understand, and this is what Q did. Q woke up a lot of the world to the fact that there's a hidden shadow government out there. It's international. It's not just the UK, it's all they have control of all of these countries, and they make it look like um, a lot of the coordination that they're doing via the unofficial channels had to with maintaining illusions because the world cannot be allowed to see what's actually going on. The world has to think that, for instance, all of these different intelligence agencies are actually separate from one another. They're not all run by the same people behind the scenes. You've got MI6 over there, you've got Mossad over here, you've got the French intelligence services over there, you've got the Germans way back there, you got the Italians over there. Okay, that's an illusion. All that's why I call it international intelligence conglomerate. They're run by the same people, by all the people, this guy, CIA guy, until Trump, all these people were figureheads, all right? They were all taking orders from the same people. The fact that they're like different intelligence services at war with one another, in competition with one another. Yes, they make it look that way, but they're not. They're not at war with one another. No, it takes a lot of coordination to maintain the illusion that there are various intelligence services out there, all not talking to each other, all not coordinating each other around the world. It takes a massive amount of communication and coordination to maintain the illusion that the political class, the hand-picked political class of each one of these 24 or so countries that I'm telling you about, the political class of these countries um, are organically rising in those countries and winning the elections there. That takes a massive amount of coordination to maintain that illusion that, somebody like Gavin Newsom just organically rises to the top and keeps winning elections because, hey, that's what the voters want. Okay, coordinating that illusion and making it look real takes a lot of coordination and communication to pull that off. Okay. Now, a lot of people just focus on America, but you don't understand the scope of this. You understand that these people very inorganically in charge of the political sphere in France, Germany, Italy, Spain, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, Mexico, especially now, they do up both in there. They they want to get into Argentina and get that guy Milei out of there. They're working hard on that one. So when they get control, they get in there and they make it look like these people are winning the election. And anybody that's a threat, they either rig an election against them and put a puppet in there, or they take them out, and they do it that way. Okay, so in the intelligence sphere, people think of all these different intelligence national intelligence agencies, all separate from each other, all with competing goals. Not true, illusion. I think of all these different national leaders of different nations, all at odds with one another, all competing with one another, all very organically winning their election and coming to power, and then seeking the best interest of the citizens. Not true, an illusion. Okay, people are being handpicked. Their national elections are being rigged to make sure that the people that the cult owns are the only ones that even get to run for office. Now, this takes, like I said, a massive amount of communication and coordination, not just pull off putting somebody like that present guy that, I can't even remember his name, that commie socialist, that commie Marxist son of a bitch that's in Brazil right now. It takes a lot of coordination and effort, not just to rig the election to get Bolsonaro out of there, use the court system and rig everything to get Bolsonaro out of there. It takes a massive amount of coordination to maintain the illusion that Brazilian people have any say in their own government, and if they voted to to get rid of Bolsonaro and put this other guy in there. So, it doesn't stop with rigging the elections. Now they've got them to keep the illusion going because that person's in there. He and that person, their puppet, will be deliberately taking that country where the vast majority of citizens do not want it to go, okay? It takes a lot of massive resources and communication and to keep the illusion going. "Ah, no, no, you voted for this, man. This is what you wanted," okay? And so, you when you understand the massive scope of this, all these intelligence agencies are really one thing. All of these political national leaders are really one thing, okay? That keeping that illusion, that mirage up there, the power that's required, to have the power that had to be generated to keep that illusion going is massive, and that's where the emails come in. 'Cause in a phone conversation, you can talk to somebody and get, "Now here's 3 things I want you to do, Horace. I want you to rig this election for this guy. That other guy's causing us doesn't win. Rig the election for that guy. Then we're gonna nationalize all the industries, and we're gonna start exporting all of their resources and making bank on it, and we're gonna keep that country just at a subsistence level, just skating above bankruptcy. And then the third thing, Horace, I want you to start a war with that country next door, so we can exploit that and make money off of it." And Horace goes, "Yes, sir." And then, 3 weeks later, Horace can't remember what that 3rd thing was. "Oh, shit, what was the 3rd thing they told me to do?" Rig the election, uh, get bankruptcies. I can't remember the 3rd thing. Oh, well, yeah, it goes back and you touch the oh, the war thing, right, alright. So, emails are valuable. Email drafts, you can do the well, people don't understand this. An email draft that you never send, well, technically, you never send a draft email can be screenshotted. You have a record of that, and you can store that somewhere. As far as what came over the network, oh, poof, that's gone supposedly. But you screenshot the email draft when you get it, and then you delete it. But so we thought. See, nothing is ever really deleted. I guarantee you, they're gonna be rolling out soon, and maybe they'll come out at trial. In the Bolton case, is that I'm pretty sure after he's done sending emails containing classified information in them, and his wife dutifully deleted it, and Bolton dutifully deleted his email draft. And people who were waiting at the midpoint, having hacked in, and were waiting to intercept um, that particular email, that classified email communication, and make their own copy of it. They think it's over, but that's not true. Nothing's ever really deleted. You may think that this was working. You do an email draft, you type out the classified information, or you attach it, and then you send a draft email to the other person, and then you're told that when you hit the delete button, you waiting, of course, you're in communication with each other. You wait till you know that they got it and they got their copy of it, their screenshot of it. Then you hit the delete button, and supposedly the draft email is deleted at both locations. And the person that's in the middle, hey, around whoever, who you tipped off, "Hey, what? You really wanna be watching my wife's email account?" Hey, use no more. Okay, I'm gonna send her something really juicy. Okay, and then pay me the usual. Right? You put you put the classified information in the email, you hit the send button, you send it to your wife, and the Iranians, whoever, intercept it at the midpoint and get their copy of it. And then you hit the delete button. Ah, you got paid. You're gonna get paid. Time. You did your duty. And of course, assuming Bolton isn't being blackmailed and he isn't doing this kind of thing under duress, he's just a greedy son of a bitch. A lot of people end up doing this kind of thing because they have no choice. Their family members are under direct threat, and they see enough to know that this cult can take people out if they want to. And they probably have a list of names of people that they know that were causing problems for this cult who died under strange circumstances or had accidents. So that's something to keep in mind. She told us from the very beginning. They were very, very right. The reason this is going to be done a certain way. The reason this has to be done a certain way. A lot of these people are under duress. They don't have a choice. They may not have understood at the beginning what they were getting into, but the moment they tried to get out, the moment they tried to pull back, they were told, "That's a lovely wife you have there. The children are so amazing. Aren't you amazing?" Ignore all the people screaming, "This had to be done on their timeline. This had to be done the way they want it done," you know? I have a very perceptive friend named Larry Sweikart, longtime historian. Now, how do you know the Epstein client list isn't already being how do you know that? Well, I don't let me get the comments up here. I always like to put the comments on the screen so I can see what you guys are saying while I'm live. Okay. Now this is a radical thought. I shared this with Catherine Austin Fitts the other day. People ask me, "How come the Epstein client list hasn't been released yet?" Like that was ever going to happen. The Epstein client list. Listen, that was a social media talking point that was created when people were absolutely convinced nothing was ever gonna happen with the Epstein evidence. Nobody was ever gonna be held accountable. So a a social media pressure campaign began to try to put pressure on and this and this started under Biden, of course, when Merrick Garland was Attorney General and Christopher Wray was at the FBI. Give us the client list. Fine. You guys won't go after the people that are on that list. We will. We'll target each one of them. Give us the damn list. We'll go after these people when we want to make their life a living hell. Give us the damn list already. Okay, and this is how the talking point started. That's how it began in 2021, 2022, into 20, all the way to 2024. Okay. And so this expectation was built that there was an Epstein client list that was coming. And these certain social media accounts spent years hyping that. And they even said, wow, the best thing about if Trump pulls this off, the best thing about Trump pulling this off is if Trump becomes president again, we're going to get that damn Epstein client list. We're going to get our hands on it. We'll be able to go out there and target all these people. You know, get our pitchforks and our torches out, and we'll go get some accountability at last. Trump wins the election. He's inaugurated in January of this year, and then January turns into February. February turns into March. And people were already screaming, "Where's the damn climate list?" So, as I've been telling people, I understand why people don't want to hear this. Okay, so what happened is because Trump, Pam, and Cass knew that none of this shit about the Epstein client list, or very little of it, was really organic. This was a ploy by some people to try to drive the prosecutors who were building cases into making a massive mistake and compromising their own cases. Somebody injected fake shit into the Epstein evidence being held by the FBI and the DOJ while those cases were being built. You can say, okay, so Ray wasn't doing anything with he was stalling. Yeah, very true, but maybe not for reasons. And Merrick Garland wasn't doing anything and pursuing the Epstein cases. Yeah, very true, but maybe not for reasons that you said. But Trump is back now, so we're gonna be getting the Epstein client list at last now, right? People had this expectation. It was always insane. I would watch this and go, "Listen, there are children in you're gonna get arrested. You know, Trump's coming back, he's gonna put new people he's gonna finally it'll take a while. A lot of people don't seem to understand this. It's gonna take a while for him to get actual functional control of the DOJ and the FBI to a level he will feel comfortable launching the Epstein indictment and starting the cases. Got to get those agencies, you've got to reach the point where you go, "Okay, I think we can successfully start some of them." Now he's not starting with Epstein. Right now, he's going with the email thing with both, and he's going with the mortgage fraud shit, which, you know, which is the key financial schemes. You wanna find out how a lot of these people are being paid off, you know, to do the stuff they do. They thought they were really clever with the mortgage stuff, okay? So we're starting with that over there, and people wanted him to go, you know, the Epstein go time was supposedly, you know, January 21st of this year, and the months rolled by, people like, "Where's the damn Epstein evidence?" Trump came right out and told you, came right out and told you. They did their due diligence. When Pam and Kath and Don, yeah, everybody got in there, they sat down, they looked over what was left behind for them by the other team. While people on social media were screaming in their ears every day trying to generate as much passion, trying to generate as much emotion, trying to generate the browbeat, "Give it to us now. Drop it, drop it. Where's the damn list? Where's the Epstein evidence? Drop it, drop it, drop it. Give it to us. Give it to us already, damn it." Every damn day. Guess what Trump and Pam and Cassie Dan found out? They found out when they did their due diligence, the Epstein evidence that was left behind, boy, they discovered some fake shit was injected in there. Apparently, somebody was really hoping they wouldn't do their due diligence. They would grab that fake shit and they would launch cases, maybe even indictments based on that fake shit. And what happens when you launch a case based on fake shit, or God forbid, you indict someone based on fake shit, is that every single one of the legitimate cases you've been building for a number of years now are also compromised. Every one of them. A lot of people don't understand what they were watching, Trump and Pam and Don, the message they were sending that day when all those social media influencers who've been bound be "Give us the damn client list. We want the Epstein evidence. We want it now, today, right now, expeditiously. Give it to us." Oh, what happened? Early March? I said, "Come on, the White House." "I have a binder I'll give you." "Yeah, give." We all know what happened. I Whatever else you may think happened that day, let me tell you the end result of that. Certain people got the freaking message. They got the message. You can yell all you want. You can cry, you can carry on, you can whine, you can throw a tantrum and fall down and hold your breath till your face turns blue. We're gonna do this the right way. That was a massive, yeah, maybe not to those specific influences that were wrote. Some of them are, I'm sure, completely honest. They think they're helping. Okay, they think they're helping. Some of them I have questions about. But a massive expectation was built up that there was an Epstein client list. So this Epstein evidence, because there were no cases being built, nobody's ever gonna be prosecuted. No reason they can't just hand this to a bunch of internet yahoos, bloggers, and social media. No reason. I'm watching that unfold that day at the White House. I'm going, "Oh my god, am I the only one that sees what's gonna happen here?" You cannot go before the time. Maybe not Trump's not the one with the problem, maybe it's you. I spent a large part of my career since 2020 that I stole that election. I really started having to tell people this in 2021, and I kinda lost the brain fog. We're actually very lucky that they stole 2020 from Trump. Gone by now. If they hadn't, you wouldn't be watching any of this that you're watching right now. None of this stuff that you think he would expose that from 2021 to 2024? Still having very limited control of the federal government, a federal government that was actively, deliberately sabotaging most of the initiatives, actively, deliberately, we never had control of probably 80% of it. But you wanted him to give the go order back in 2017. I'm having to, I get tired of having to explain this to people, but I understand it's programming. Our minds are not active. Our minds are incredibly passive. You have to keep telling them the same thing over and over again till it sinks in and their minds start waking up. They start actively thinking about what I'm telling them. If you'd gotten everything you wanted back in 2017, 2018, 2019, even in the late stages of 2020, Donald Trump, causing Chris Ray, who says, "Okay, we're gonna do it. Here's what we're gonna indict all these people, get 'em." He's giving you everything you're telling me you wanted him to do back then. If he'd done what people have constantly told me for years I wanted him to do, if he'd done it in 2020, this story would be over already. You would not have liked the ending. You understand? Just we would be on no journey together with that man and his team anymore. It would have ended in 2020 if he'd done what everybody was screaming for him to do. It looked like everybody, okay? It would be over already. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Fine. Go ahead. Give the go order. Indict James Comey, indict John Brennan, indict John Bolton, indict Hillary Clinton, indict Barack Obama, indict all these people. Try to take them to trial in 2020 while you're still president. You, you do that. Watch it all turn to shit. I've been trying to tell people for years. It's a good thing Trump doesn't listen to these people. Not everything social media influencers do are bad. They get a lot of truth out. No, they get this idea Trump needs to do something right the heck now, right this very minute. He needs to do this. He's not doing it. Then nothing's happening. This is gonna happen. I give up. I quit. Screw the whole thing. We've lost. Trump didn't meet my timetable. It's like I'm gonna really. I'm gonna really piss some of you off by saying this. It's like being on a long ride to Disneyland. With a bunch of screaming kids in the backseat. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And you can't explain to a 5-year-old it's gonna be about 5 more hours. You can't really tell them that because their emotional reaction, they'll be exactly like the peanuts, the peanuts when the peanuts thing where they told something they don't wanna hear, and they tilt their head back like this, and they'll, "Ah," and their mouth go open, "Ah." Can't tell 'em it's gonna be another 5 hours. And logic their minds are not developed to the point they can handle that. They're just all that's gonna do is provoke an emotional reaction. 30 minutes is an eternity to a 5-year-old. You say 5 hours, you're gonna literally traumatize them. They're in the back seat the whole time you're driving. "Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Tell me we're there yet. Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" You're going to win this or not, and you know you only get one shot at it. You better be sure. Better be sure. All these people that don't know shit that are outside of Trump and we got a whole cottage industry here in MAGA. Understand that? The people pretending they're inside. Oh, I'm an insider. The insiders talk to me. I hear things. Let me tell you. We, we got massive amounts of bullshit going on in MAGA right now. People that pretend that I'm wired down. I'm openly honest about the fact. I don't talk to anybody. Some of these people follow me, but if you think that they're sharing inner circle details with me, no, they're not. Do I ever talk like that? I got an anonymous source that's not telling me what's going on. No, fuck that. I don't do that. That's Bannon. That's Corbiak. That's all those other influencers out there. That's Laura Loomer. That's all these other people out there that are doing that shit. No, I don't do that. You get one shot, just the one. And social media is full of people setting artificial timetables. Happening right now. You don't know shit. You don't know what Trump knows. You trust or you don't. A lot of these people, because Trump didn't meet their timetable, he didn't do something when they wanted it done, how they wanted it done. That's it. I'm done. I don't trust this guy anymore. And they lose their shit. You need to understand this. I'm Epstein. Nobody is gonna make that happen. Good. Nobody. You may say, "Man, so I lost my train of thought." Again, I had to lay this foundation before I told you. At least like a for a while now. The reason they can't have the trials yet, the reason they can't unseal the indictments is that and I know some of you are gonna instantly hate what I'm about to say. Some of you are gonna go, "Oh my god, that's impossible. You can't be doing that." Just hear me out. If the Luciferian cult's control of these 24 or so nations that I've been talking to you about, half of it's based on blackmail. Half of them will blackmail him. The other half are either families of the cult, they are set up by the cult, they are loyal to the cult. A number of them are blackmailed, they're only doing what they're doing because their family members are under threat and they're being blackmailed into they are compromising videos and shit, and they're only doing this because 'cause they're under duress. And the other half are committed cult members, satanic cult members, okay? Fully committed to the cause. Have you noticed recently that some of these world leaders are suddenly doing all kinds of stuff that Trump tells them to do? In the past, they would always go, "Trump, get lost. I ain't even talking to you." Now all of a sudden he's got them jumping through hoops for him, with him. Have you noticed that? Well, what if out of the 24 nations, I have no idea what the real number is. Let's say it's 24 exactly. 12 are committed members of the cult. They're saying that they're raised up to be Luciferians, okay, and they're willingly part of this. The other 12 are blackmailed. What if you got control of the blackmail evidence? You took it away from someone. You now have control of it. And you call these 12 national leaders up on the phone. The other side that were handling you before, now replacing you now work and you will work for me. Why else? All of a sudden, you start seeing people like Keir Starmer and Bibi Netanyahu doing stuff you could never have pictured them doing before. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that just like, whoa, what's going on here? These people spent all those years at Trump, denying Trump, doing if they could to thwart Trump. Now they're working. What? Why are they working with Trump on this initiative? Well, amazing things happen when people get new handles. Somebody else has control of the files. What if before you want to drop the evidence and unseal the indictment, you want to fix the world a little bit first? What if you want to stop all the wars? What if you had the ability to do that? Call up, take a picture. If you watch my earlier broadcast, you were talking about the war blacks these people created. The Israel, Jewish black over here, and the Western democracy black, and you got the Arabic Muslim world over here. And you keep behind the scenes, you're funding all of this, and you're pitting both of these world blocks against each other. You're sending out your CIA, cheap dip, Operation Gladio assets disguised as radical Islamic terrorist groups out there and cause all kinds of conflict so you can make money off of it. One world block versus the other world block. The Hindu bloc in India versus the Muslim bloc in Pakistan. Hey, let's get another war started there. Oh shit, here comes Trump with a bucket of water. God damn it, I hate that guy. Okay. They've been doing this for a while. All right. What if 12 are committed cult members in this one and spread around the world in these different blocks, half of them are committed cult members. Half of them are only doing this shit because they're being forced. What if you got in your hands on their control file? Listen, and you call them up on the phone. Listen, I know you've only been doing this shit because your wife and your children are threatened and your family members, and you don't want to be exposed and spend the rest of your life in prison. And they held this over your head. I'm gonna, g- I'm gonna offer you the deal of a lifetime. It's the deal of a lifetime. I want you to work with certain people. I want you to I'm gonna bring you into contact with certain people, and you're gonna end up doing certain things that you were not doing before. You're gonna be working for a different group of people there. Yeah, and what we're going to do is, now that you have new handlers, you're gonna start fixing some of this shit that cult has been having to do. You're gonna start to repair some of the damage and the conflict and the war. I'm gonna guarantee your security. I'm gonna guarantee the security of your family. I mean, you can imagine the security guarantees, and you'd have to follow through on this. But if you lose any of these people, then all bets are off, and the remaining ones that survive are gonna go back to the cult. I think Larry Schwartz is right about this. The reason you can't see the Epstein evidence, the reason they can't unseal any of the indictments yet, is somebody's using that evidence to fix the world, and there's really not a whole lot the court can do about it. How do you get leverage to end the endless? How do you get it? Well, you cut the strings to some of the puppets and start making the puppets that you freed move to your orders. They don't move to the other side's orders anymore. They work for you now. Now you could say, well, they're still under threat. I'm telling them, hey, you better do what I want you to do or else. In a sense, that's true. But listen, you think a lot of these people, if they were amenable to being freed and they agreed to do a deal, they loved what they were doing, they loved being there, they loved doing that shit. If that was true, they wouldn't have had to have been in the first place. They're speaking volunteers for it. Maybe some of them have. I happen to think that Q was correct. A lot of people were doing this because they were lured in. By the time they figured out what was what, they were in too deep and they were told, now you will do these what we tell you or else. Your wife will die, your children will die, will kill you, will kill your whole family. And then one day you're approached, would you like to work for someone else now who doesn't want you to kill people and that doesn't want you to do all these things that are literally wrecking, exploiting, and looting your own country? Would you like to work for us instead as a double agent? You like to do that? What do you think? So the reason you can't see the evidence from the Epstein cases yet that the cases are being built is that it very well could be Trump is using those files, those videos, and those pictures. Some of which I'm pretty sure are very high level AI that the cult was holding over these people's heads, making use of that to get certain people to do things that the world is finding quite surprising. The endless is not supposed to ever be ended. Why you call it the endless? How do you end the endless? Um, if a certain number of world leaders have only been doing all the evil, vile shit, or they're under orders to do that, they're under duress. All you have to do is figure out a way to cut the strings and make them an offer. Doesn't mean that they're gonna totally escape the consequences of what they've done, but it means that they can start trying to undo some of the damage. Everybody loves the redemption story. And I know that I've been telling people for a while. Everybody acts like everybody that's been entrapped by this Luciferian cult. They love the dark. They love being as far in the dark as they can get, and they love all the shit they do. Yeah, that may be true in the case of somebody like me, somebody or whoever. Hey, that may be true. But I happen to think some of these people didn't understand what they were getting into. They were roped into this. By the time they figured out what was going on, they were told, "You can't back out or we'll kill your wife. You have no choice. You will go along and you will do what we tell you, or you be gone and we'll just get somebody else." You can't end the endless until you have all the proper resources in position. You have all the proper personnel in position. You have all the I's dotted and the T's crossed, and you're ready to go. Move to end the for 10 years now. Well, I can't say 10 years, 8 years now, because Trump didn't get elected until, he didn't take the oath of office until 2017. So let's say for 8 years now, people have been endlessly screaming him to go with it. Go now. Go now. What the heck? Now. Do it now. And they get frustrated. I understand that. But you're in it to win it. And I'm convinced that most of this about the social media pressure campaigns that people say none of that okay, very little of that social media pressure campaigns are organic. They're being paid for by somebody. Somebody's writing a script. They're trying to browbeat and yell at and and pressure Trump and his team into going early and making a mistake. But, I mean, you might be surprised to hear that, but that's what's behind a lot of this. Take that Epstein evidence. Don't look at it. Don't look at it too closely. Just take it and start using it and start building cases on it and start unsealing indictments. Do it right now. And Trump avoided that trap because Trump and Time and Cass did their due diligence and they found the fake shit that had been injected in there. And they did not build any new cases based on the fake shit. And they certainly didn't indict anybody based on it. But as far as the real Epstein evidence goes, I believe Trump is using it, and that's why you're suddenly seeing leaders around the world doing some really amazing stuff. Wow, I can't believe Starmer's working with Trump on I can't believe these NATO countries are working with Trump on this. I mean, why they have a sudden change of heart? Oh, I I have a theory about that. When you have a massive ongoing criminal enterprise of a mind-boggling scope that's been in power for over 100 years, and they're casting very powerful illusions and mirages that all of these national leaders aren't in the same club. They're all separate from each other and competing with each other. All these national intelligence agencies are not all one thing. They're all separate. They're all in competition with each other, and it's an illusion. And he's giving the illusion that all these national leaders are rising organically, and they're winning these elections, and, and that's how they end up in charge, and that's an illusion. It takes a lot of power, it takes a lot of time and energy to maintain that illusion. And what's the biggest thing, the illusions I'm talking about? What's the biggest thing the illusion is generated by these people to do? It's to keep the endless going. How does the endless become endless? It's the endless can be maintained only as long as the illusion is maintained. When you kill the illusion, what happens to the endless? Well, the endless is no longer endless, is it? So you study a cult and what they've been doing, how have they been keeping the mirages and the illusions out there that allow them to continue doing this endlessly for the last 100 years? How do they maintain it? Blackmail plays a key role in that, in maintaining the illusion that allows them to continue the endless, the endless war, the endless fake election, the endless fake national leaders, the endless fake military conflicts around the world that when they're causing them all, they're starting them and then bank on all of them. But they make it look like this is organic shit, and it's not. That's the illusion. That's how they keep the endless going. So somebody, well, I'm not gonna say who, somebody figured out how to end the endless. You take that projector, when I go look at it as a projector that's throwing an illusion up there for the to mesmerize the world. How do you turn that damn projector off? How do you turn it off? How do you cut the power? How do you cut the power that allows them to maintain the illusion? Separate intelligence agencies, separate national leaders. They're all rising organically. There's no one thing running all of it. How do you cut the power so the world starts to like, holy shit, they start to see stuff they never saw. The illusion, the mirage fades away. Well, if blackmail plays a key role maintaining that illusion so that they can keep the endless going, when you turn the projector off, when they lose control of the segment of the national leadership out there in the world that was only going along with their program, with their agenda, because they were blackmailed, and you managed to successfully cut the string to enough people and get them to start working with you, you are now in a position to begin ending the endless. I've been telling people for years, I don't think you understand the scope of this. I don't think you grasp it. No, I don't think you do. I was just with the Durham shit, the Russellgate, Spygate stuff. I don't think you understand the scope of this. It's a massive criminal enterprise. It kills about 1,000,000 people a year. Even when there isn't a world war going on, okay, they kill a lot of people. The number ticked upward dramatically during the pandemic. Okay, they do a lot. The drug trafficking around the world, the sex trafficking, the wars, the conflicts. They they have had control of our country for over 100 years, and they make all of our states and many of our key counties at a bare subsistence level. Bare subsistence level. Yeah, on purpose, because they have that kind of control. Somebody figured out how to successfully challenge these people. I talked about this in my last string when Obama now looking all haggard and gaunt, and that interview in the UK talked about we don't want Trump at kangaroo courts. Oh, this is so such he's weaponizing everything. Okay, I need to go back a little bit. I'm not ready for that. You gotta have a foundation and make sure you understand what I'm trying to tell you. There is an entire hidden world out there that is built to be kept out of sight. They need an endless amount of coordination and communication between all the different affiliates and the main headquarters where the cult is located. There's a massive amount of communication and coordination that has to occur, and it's been kept out of sight. You are not allowed to see it. And they hide it, okay? And it started surfacing back in 2015. Somebody started surfacing it. I started teaching people what the template looked like. Here's how they do it. When you're Secretary of State like Hillary Clinton was, from 2009 to 2012, and then she was replaced by John Kerry. When Secretary of State, and you're playing a key role in the worldwide coordination of all the shit the cult's doing around the world. And you're in communication with the affiliates in Africa and the affiliates in South America, the affiliates in the Western Pacific, the Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, all those places. In Europe, you're in charge of all the affiliates in there. You're the USA USA affiliate, and you're in contact with all these people. There's a lot of shit and coordination has to go on out of sight. That's why she had this server. Why she had it. Oh, this is just about a couple of pay-for-play deals where she's selling access services and shit to make a couple money for herself. Oh, you have no idea. Oh, it goes way beyond that. Way beyond that. You have no idea, man. If you think just about, um, this is just about earning a couple million for herself and her hubby Bill, selling access and pay for play. Oh, this goes to a magnitude beyond that that just would blow your mind if you start looking into this. It takes a lot of energy to maintain that illusion, to hide the hidden world, to hide it, the coordination that's going on, to make sure everybody, if they want certain things to happen in Afghanistan, you have to coordinate with a dozen countries out there, different, the diplomatic corps and all this to make sure those things that don't want to happen in Afghanistan happen in Afghanistan. Okay, and there was a massive amount of coordination that takes place, and they need a hidden email network to make this thing go. That's why I introduced the concept. They don't just use text messages. They can't use audible phone calls, shit, unless you're recording it. All right, oh god, these people do not want what they're saying recorded. It might be intercepted. So they what they settled on was a draft email system. I will write out a draft email. I will attach classified stuff to it when I have to. While we're coordinating something I want you to do in Greenland or whatever, okay? And I'm gonna send it to you. You let me know when you've seen it, and then I'm gonna hit the delete button and we'll delete it. If you can get a copy of it, get to do a screenshot. I'm gonna delete the email, the draft email. And this is the system they settled on. So I've been telling people for some time now. I'm gonna find this. Yeah, okay, give me a second. This might take a minute. Mm. To launch my where did I put that? I thought I had it up already. I apologize. Yeah. Okay, found it. Now I wanna make sure that I sell this. I set this up. You can see it. This is a post I did when I couldn't sleep at 2 o'clock. I got up. I did, about what I see in this indictment of John Bolton. Okay, now they established the template for how these people coordinate and communicate with each other on site when nobody can see. When you're doing the really criminal shit now, I mean the really bad stuff, they do not use their official government emails or their phone or the government phones or whatever. Um, and that's why Hillary destroyed all the Blackberries and with hammers and shit. Okay. They cannot have this stuff come out. They do not want anybody seeing this stuff. I'm explaining to you why, okay? They started walking you through how they use emails and draft emails and introduced you to some of the people who were in these email chains and were using these servers, Obama, Biden, Stephen Rice, so on and so forth. Um, let me just read it. I guarantee you what Bolton was doing sent the trash material over an unsecure, private, personal email account. This is exactly how Hillary and Joe Biden were trafficking and classified information that they were selling. I'm only going so far as selling classified information. I'm not even getting into the shit yet. When I'm talking about what the agenda is for certain countries for the next decade and how they're positioning themselves to make the things happen that they want to see happen in those countries. I'm just going so far as they have U.S. classified intelligence. They want to make some money on the side by selling it to someone. Okay, I'm only going that far. So what you do is you use what's called an email pass-through. Explain what a pass-through. I studied espionage and spycraft a long time ago, years ago. Okay? Yeah, spycraft is really useful. There's a thing called a global pass-through where, let's say you're a spy from country A and you're meeting a source from country B and you're about to you want to give them some classified information. Can't can't have the document. You have to tell it to the person. I don't have better ways to explain that. You know, there's a meeting between top people of country A when they sit in a restaurant and discuss something in the bathroom classified, in a classified manner, classified place. I'm messing that up. You have 2 diplomats from country A. We'll talk okay, 2 diplomats from England. They're sitting in a restaurant. They're verbally discussing a sensitive classified matter, and they think nobody's paying attention, nobody's gonna overhear them. Well, let's say there's a spy from country B, we'll say it's, Russia, sitting within earshot. So, and let's say one of these diplomats from the UK knows that Russian spy is there. He's engineered this meeting in a restaurant knowing his Russian handler is gonna be there, is gonna be within earshot. So, the compromised UK British diplomat is gonna ask leading questions to the other diplomat and get him to talk about the classified material. What's gonna happen is this is called a verbal pass-through. You think it's a secure communication between 2 people in private, but you don't know about the Russian over there that's listening. So, and one of the people, at least one of the people has had to be in on it. So the British guy that's compromised asks leading questions of the other British guy and gets him to answer, and the Russian guy is hearing it, and he gets that information, and he leaves with it. Verbal pass-through. Now, all Bolton and the other people that do this type of thing, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Susan Rice, Valerie Jarrett, all these other people doing this, John Brennan, okay, all these other people doing this, they're doing a written pass-through. What they're doing is they're writing out a draft email, and they're making sure that they send it on a unencrypted channel that somebody's in a position to intercept it and get a copy of it. So, that's what an email pass-through is. It's digital, and just make sure as the classified information is passing through from the first email account, number 1, the email account number 2, that the foreign entity is hacked in and in position that makes the intercept and get a copy of it. You really have to pass it over an unencrypted, unsecured channel and make sure the people who are gonna pay big money for that classified info are in position to grab it and to pass it by. This is what Hillary Clinton was doing. Yes, you may not remember this, but I do. Back when this was all coming out in 2014 and 2015, right in the middle of Hillary Clinton's campaign for president, that she had a private email server, and she's literally, and I'm not making this up. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. She's literally telling her staff, including Huma Abedin, telling them, they're telling the staff to send this document via fax or email to this person over there, and the staff is protesting. Uh, but Mrs. Clinton, this is classified. Okay, guess what Hillary Clinton told them to do? Just, well, strip the classified records off of it and send it anyway. And so they did. And that imagine this, if that's what they're doing on the official channels, yes, you telling them. Say, yeah, send this right now. Now, Hillary's not somebody that handles um, questions from other people very well. Put it that way. She was telling them, "You send that to this person right now." But Hillary, it says classified. Well, strip it off then. Okay, and they would strip it off, and they would send it anyway. Now she's doing that shit on the official channel. Do I need to draw you a picture of what she was doing if she has a private off the book email server on a hidden network nobody else knew about that wasn't official? Well, I don't think I have to. No, people are sending classified shit to each other over unsecure personal email accounts. Oftentimes, these email accounts, they're using fake names. Now, one more time, pay attention, please. What am I telling you here about how they use email accounts for all kinds of funky stuff? And the chief characteristic of this is that they're all using unencrypted personal email accounts and classified information back and forth to each other as the foreign entities they've tipped off are waiting to intercept that information. Then everybody gets paid. Everybody's happy. Burn them off. And I know I upset the people. Oh my God, here he goes again. He's going with that same stupid meme he's been showing for months. Yes, yes. I'll keep showing it. I, I have to keep showing it. Okay, I mean, move myself out of the way here. Um, nope, that's not right. Okay, yeah, this is what I want people to understand. It's all fun and games with the secret email network and the cool fake name email addresses, and there was ways you're trying to using draft email and classified shit out there so you can sell it when you tip off the people, that are waiting, calling up the Iranians and calling up this foreign entity, foreign government saying, "Hey, I'm gonna be sending uh, some really funky stuff to my wife or my brother or somebody, tomorrow, honey, and make sure you're watching for that so you can intercept it." Oh, dang. With this email network and the cool fake email addresses until President Donald J. Trump declassifies it. Oh, I don't think any of them are gonna survive this. Yeah, I mean, it's my attitude, and it's starting with Bolton, okay, because I think this is how they do this type of thing. When it comes down, taking down a massive RICO criminal conspiracy. This is how you do it. You don't start at the top when you unseal the indictment. You build the case the people further down the chain. Start down there and you work your way up and you flip people. See, I guarantee you, Wilson does not want to see his wife and daughter go to prison for the rest of their lives. I guarantee you, he's not want to see that. So, got a lot of incentive to flip, and he may have already flipped for all we know. I have to say, Rudy Giuliani, Operation Operation Playboy, okay, they were involved, setting all this up about how they're gonna expose this, and then how they're gonna project, and you slowly surface the fact that all these national governments that you think are separate entities, all these intelligence agencies that you view as separate entities are actually one thing. They're being run behind the scenes as one thing by a group of people. And none of these national leaders are rising organically and winning the elections. Like, it's all an illusion. How do you turn the projector off when the illusion is destroyed and the world wakes up and goes, "Holy shit." Well, I think you would start that by doing 2 things. 1, you expose the way these people communicate and have their communications. You have it, but you have to be careful, and you have to make sure the world is ready to see this before you drop it. If you do this too early, if you had this shit back in 2018, but the world wasn't ready for it, And you tried to unseal a bunch of indictments in 2019 and try them in the civilian court system. Mm, I don't think that you would have liked how that story ended. I don't think you liked it. I'll put it that way. You have to take the world by the hand, lead it along slowly, wake it up to the fact that your national leaders are not really winning these elections. These all these terrorist groups out there that you think are rising organically and doing all this pirate shit around the world, uh, that's not organic. Um, all these wars and conflicts that are starting up, you think that's just, national leaders doing shit and just organically ending up in conflict with one another. No, that's an illusion. To keep the endless going takes a massive amount of coordination and resources to keep the illusion up. People can't see how the world what's actually happening in the world. And when you get into a position, turn the projector off. The image doesn't go off all at once. It's starting to fade away. We some of the people that are involved in these governments, you cut their strings, keep them a deal, you turn them into your double agents, and you start enacting a different agenda. While the Luciferian cults out there frantically trying to protect their remaining assets, they're frantically trying to keep their agenda going. But they can't really stop it because you freed some of these people, and now they face a real conundrum. Oh my God, we we've lost this part of the UK, we lost these people in the some of our affiliate in Australia has been flipped, some of our affiliate in France, Germany, Spain, Italy. We've lost some of our affiliates there. It's getting hard to keep that illusion up, and that's what's happening. It's hard for them to maintain the illusion. And now, I said all that to say this template that was started to be surfaced years ago with Hillary Clinton and those 33,000 emails, she was so desperate to keep anybody from ever seeing those emails and what type of shit they were discussing with each other. Everybody assumed it's just about, oh, a side deal with this company in France, and they're gonna pay me this much. See, they don't think it goes beyond that. It stops with greed for side deal. But I guarantee you, those 33,000 emails, when people start seeing some of this shit that's in those emails, it's gonna blow their minds. Wait a minute, you mean MI6 and the Mossad, the CIA are something the same fucking thing? Is that what you're telling me? They'll be discussing this in the emails. They'll be discussing, wait, you mean none of these people in France and Germany, Italy are actually winning these elections? They're discussing how they're rigging this around. Oh, no, no, you'll see the emails where they're discussing how they're gonna overthrow Poroshenko, and you can't. They're gonna discuss the counter-revolution, how they're gonna talk about the secret CIA bases they have on the frontier with Ukraine and Russia, and how they're going into the Donbass and killing people to try to provoke a war with Russia. You're gonna see all kinds of amazing shit in those emails when they come out, right? And they will come out. And what why those emails had to be held back. What I mean, I know emotionally people can't accept this. I just want the truth. Give me the truth right now. It does you no good to see all the evidence and see all the truth right now if it can't be acted on effectively. Was the world ready to see all this shit back in 2017? I would say no. I would say it was not. It was far from ready. Was the world ready to see it in 2020? I would still say no. Not ready to see that. No. I kinda use that in the reference the frame of Trump having the election stolen from him. People were encouraging him to try to use the military to stay in power and fight for control. Don't leave. They'll tell him, "Don't leave." Well, what if to try to keep him leaving, he dropped it all again? Yeah, all these national leaders out there, France, Spain, Italy, Germany, think they're winning the election. All their elections are rigged. Let me show you what all these people are talking about in this secret email chain. Let me see what they're talking about, okay? I'm telling you, man, the world was not ready for that. If you tried to do that back in 2020, the journey ends. Like, we're not on a journey with Donald Trump anymore. It would have ended in 2020 if it goes through. And that's a comment for this from, Austin. It's still not ready yet. Uh, we're getting closer. 'Cause the I want you to understand this, the Bolton indictment is key because it's gonna return the test. Oh, wait a minute, is this what Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden were doing also? Is this how they would do it? Sending emails back and forth to family members so they could be intercepted by certain parties that can tip off that those emails containing classified information were coming? Is that how they were doing it? See, it's a template, it's another step in destroying the illusion, turning the projector off. To show you how all the people that are involved in class, the diplomatic class, the political class, the international jet set class, are all in on a lot of them are. And this is how they communicate, this is how they coordinate, this is how they keep the endless going. And when it's exposed and it's surfaced, they they are gonna they can't like when the world sees what just the shit on the pandemic. There's all kinds of shit they've been doing. I'm sure there's a record of it, and Trump's been sitting on it all this time. And I know some people are gonna scream in anger to the heavens when they find out he knew all this time. He knew all this time what they're doing, and something, and he hid it. They're gonna lose their shit. You could have showed us all this 8 years ago. What the hell is the matter with you? And they're not gonna understand. If you drop this even on the way out during 2020, our journey is over. The world was not ready. It would have destroyed everything. And there are people out there that are anarchists. Then other guys speaking anarchy. I don't give a shit. Drop it. Burn it all down. I don't care. I don't care. Burn it all down. Start a second world war that kill a couple 100 million people. No, 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 no. The people who are handling this are gonna do it responsibly. Just because you're emotional and you can't handle this emotionally doesn't mean you get to determine how this is gonna happen. Thank God you're not in charge of anything. I'll put it that way. You end the endless by the projector off. What's the best way to snap the world awake is show them what they've been talking about in secret amongst themselves and all the not it's gonna start with selling classified information, information that they're not supposed to be sending, and many times they're selling it. And strike with that, but before this is over, they're gonna get to when do you see the emails where they're all planning the pandemic? When do you see that? When do you see the emails where they're planning the new war they're about to start? We're hoping to kickstart when they do a color revolution in Ukraine, and then use your CIA camp in the Donbass with those sheep-dipped CIA paramilitary forces pretending to be, Ukrainian Nazis going into the Donbass and killing ethnic Russians there. What can you find out about that? Okay, and they're trying to start all these wars and all this conflict, and they're doing okay, where the drug traffic is coming out of Afghanistan, and this is where we're sending it. I think we can increase our profits here if we do this, and they're sharing ideas with each other about how to do that. I'm telling you, your mind is literally gonna be blown when you see what these people were talking about. It goes far beyond, "Yeah, let's set up a side deal with this company in this foreign country, and they're paying me a little under the table cash." Oh, this goes way beyond that. Talk about how new vaccines you want to introduce and what type of results you want to achieve with those vaccines. Let's talk about the undertaking to sterilize much of the world and keep the world population numbers. Y your mind is going to be blown when you find out what these people are talking about amongst themselves. They thought they went private and they were being real clever, and they're massively coordinating all this stuff using draft emails, and then hit the delete button, and they think it's gone forever. Yep. So did that post I made the other day. I'm gonna go find it. I did a post. I'm gonna change the subject now. I got about 30 minutes left, and I really wanted to get this done. Um, about their latest big lie and how it's collapsing. Um, I wanted to start with the John Bolton stuff because that's important. So let me go to a new screen share here, and this is the latest column up on my Substack about how their latest big lie is collapsing. On top of all the stuff Trump is doing internationally, the peace deal and in the Middle East, that is huge. But I want to look at domestically what Trump is doing here. The latest big lie is collapsing. One big lie after another is collapsing over the last 5, 6 years. This is just the latest one, and he is focusing on. Um, I'll try to get my screen up here. Okay, internationally, I've been talking a lot about what they do around the world and that coordinate things to make things happen on an international agenda. I'm narrowing the focus now to just one agenda item they have in the United States, to increase crime dramatically in many of the cities. There's a reason they're doing that. Trump is domestically, Trump is investing a lot of his time lately in exposing this and why they're doing it. So, let me just go over this briefly. The latest big lie is collapsing. We ain't got no money to lock up all violent criminals. Yeah, I understand. This shit where some guy with 30 arrests, caught trying to rape some woman, kill somebody, attack somebody like the subway guy, and then they let him go, okay? This has always been happening. What's happening now, the national spotlight is being shown on it, and it's staying on it. That's never happened before, and these were considered local news stories. These are not supposed to go national numbers. The mm, fake news media that's under the control of the least both the fake news, which I consider the lefty news and the neocon news, same thing, fake news, alright? They pick what stories go national and stay national. So for years, they've completely ignored stories that about the violent criminals that are going through a revolving door justice system. They ignore that. What Trump is doing now is he grabbed control of the national spotlight. He took it away from them. He grabbed control of it, and he's keeping it and shining on this issue. Why are these cities continuing to let people out over and over and over again, over and over and over again? Don't tell me it's money. Watch, okay. I made this meme the other day, and that this is a picture of this two women that were killed recently, and the career criminals that killed them. Guys who very likely are mental cases, okay? They should not be walking out free. They've demonstrated repeatedly they cannot stop engaging in violent crimes against other people. So what Trump is doing, he's grabbed control, he's grabbed the spotlight away from them. They don't get to pick some racially inflammatory story the way they wanna cover it and focus the national attention on it for weeks and months. Trump took control of that. He said, "This is the kind of racial story you wanna be looking at. You wanna claim it that way. Why do these guys keep being let out to do this sort of thing? What's the excuse for this? And is it a valid excuse?" So the question that's being asked is, important that the country ask itself this, Are they doing this on purpose? Why can't some communities keep violent repeat offenders locked up? And the brutal truth is they're not doing it because they don't want. So the country is recently having a national spotlight shown quite rightly, very real and important issue. How local judges are under orders from their superiors to keep the jail population as low as possible. People say imprisonment costs follow them up. Governor Stein, Josh Stein, North Carolina, okay, Governor Stein waited 10 days in North Carolina to sign Illinois law in order to allow for a full-throated complaint by many law enforcement officials and local sheriffs in that state and judges to declare the new law as essentially worthless. Like, I'm not saying, this is very problematic. You passed a new law that now says we can't have cashless bail anymore. We have to hold these people. That's the problem, man. Why is it a problem? Well, one reason I love Grok is they're able to make videos on Grok now. So I'm playing this video for you. Please let me know if the sound works. Okay, does the sound on the video work? Okay, I gotta go where I can. Give me a second. Okay, were you able to hear that? Okay, yeah, I'm a couple seconds ahead. I'm now looking at. Did you hear that when I? Oh, you can't even see the video. Okay, let me drop the link in there then. Put it that way. I didn't realize you can't even see the video in the Rumble chat. Let me go and drop it in. Go directly to the page. Okay, oh, there he is. Okay, but I don't think while he was playing, I don't know if you can hear it. Yeah, no audio. Okay. But basically what this guy does is I've discovered this, the rock is great. It nails this almost the first time. I did a prompt that show me a rich, fat, well-dressed politician with his hair immaculately combed and wearing designer clothes. It put him in a tuxedo with his pockets turned out saying, "We ain't got no money for that." And then he grunts. So if you can at least see the video. Uh, I think I'd have to. Hold on. Let me see if I can try it this way. I think I have my. I don't have Rumble muted. Let me mute Rumble. But turn the sound off here. Then I'll turn my speaker on. Let me see if you can hear him through my mic if I play it again. We're broke. There's no money for that. Okay, I think you could probably hear it that time. But you had to hear that through my mic. So basically, he grunts and says, "We ain't got no money. We're broke. We don't have any money for that." And so this is what they're doing. As they're saying, "Look, you passed the law, and it's worthless that you passed that law. We ain't got no money." So they're all claiming they ain't got no money to increase their prison jail populations in their county. Great, pass all the laws you want. Tell us more, no cashless bail now. Tell us that, hope more people in the jail. We can't do that. We don't have any money to do that. So the imprisonment budget for the year was set months ago. It's already all spent holding the very low number of people they've currently been holding. Now this new law demands they hold more offenders in jail while they're awaiting trial. And they're saying they just don't have the resources to do that. Okay. And I quote this. You see, I have links here. That's a link from North Carolina newspaper. Queen City News. Mecklenburg County Sheriff Gary McFadden is calling for all sheriffs in North Carolina to be heard in regards to the passage of illness law. McFadden said in a statement Thursday, that the public safety bill raises expectations but provides no support to meet them, leaving local sheriffs to absorb the strain of potentially overcrowded jails. Detention centers are not optimal treatment settings, he said. Consequently, many sheriffs across the state may need to expand or enhance their mental health services to effectively coordinate with local hospitals or manage patients in crisis. What's he telling you there? Let me read between the lines for you. There's so many screwed up, crazy people that are homeless and living on the streets, like the Carlos Brown Jr., the guy who stabbed Aaron to death. They're career criminals. They're crazy. They're not mentally there. We don't have facilities to treat these people, and we keep arresting them over and over again. We let them go because we don't have the facilities to treat them. Well, what are we supposed to do? We don't have any resources for this. So that's what he's saying there. Officially, House Bill 307, the bill was created following the fatal stab of Anya Zaretska, August 22nd. It passed through the General Assembly September 23rd and awaits signature by Governor Josh Stein. McFadden said it creates unintended challenges for law enforcement agencies, claiming it would create a spike in overtime costs, especially tied to increased hospital transports and extended holding times. So this is what they do. This is like the pension movement I'm about to describe. We ain't got no money. Hey, it's nice you passed this law, and I'm not happy with the revolving door justice system either. But you got to understand, we don't do it that way because we ain't got no money. Okay, so you're gonna be seeing a lot more of these LEO judicial system people coming out in the coming days complaining loudly that they're doing the best they can with the limited resources they have to work with. And only if you raise taxes and revenues will they have the money to begin holding more people in the jail. So it's a pincer movement. Understand what a pincer movement is. You're encircled. Somebody comes from below, somebody else comes from above. It's an up-down pincer movement. One comes down from the top, the other pincer movement moves up from the bottom. So from the top, the vile foreign entity that's actually been running most of our U.S. states, running our federal government, they still run a significant chunk of our federal government. Thank God Trump is back, and he's been prying their fingers off of their control of our. We have no idea if you want to set a figure on it. Maybe they have 50% control left at this point. In Trump's first term, they probably had 80% control. Trump slowly prying their fingers off of it. But when it comes to the states and many of our key cities here in America, this foreign entity is still in total control. So from the top, the vile foreign entity that's been actually running most of our U.S. states, the current figureheads they're using, such as Newsom, Kotek, and Pritzker, don't make any real command decisions in case you're confused about that. They loot the states and counties to a massive degree. In other words, they put these figureheads in place. Your job is to keep the pennies flowing to us. That's your job. Maintain the illusion, or we're going to leave you just enough for your state to barely get by. Keep the pennies flowing out of state to us. That's your job. That's your real job now. I'm not talking about the fake job. That's their real job. It's to exploit and loot their own state on behalf of the people who put them there. Vast amounts of wealth and resources are extracted and sent out of state deliberately. Not an accident. No, you need to hold this thought firmly in your mind. These states and counties, whatever their real wealth and resources out there are, however much revenue and wealth they're generating every year, they are quite single-mindedly kept just above bankruptcy level by these people actually making the command decisions. They take as much as they can and leave just enough behind for the state or county to scrape by at a subsistence level. It's literally the Lord and the serf. Remember that? How the Lord was set up in the old feudal system? The old nobility class. A lot of people say it's the Jews. Oh, you have no fucking idea. It's the old nobility class. They created the Zion. What the fuck are you talking about? They created the Zionists. All right? It's the old royalty nobility of Europe. We've actually gone back to the lord and serf system, but they were very clever in how they disguised it. So they give you figureheads like Pritzker, Newsom, Kotek here in the United States. They do this all over the world, but here in the United States, they set up somebody, they rig elections, they put that guy in place. Your job is maximum looting of your country and send us, what's that word that they used? Okay, give me a second here. I'm trying to remember that word. Taxes. Send us the taxed amount that you owe. We've decided your taxes every year for your state, your county, your city will be this. You meet that, or else we will replace you and bring in somebody else. And you pay that tax to the feudal lord every year. All that shit is extracted from your state and sent overseas, sent out of the state, out of the county, out of the city. That's by design, okay? And so the figurehead, his job is to maintain the illusion. You guys elected me to do this now, and hide the fact they're extracting all of this wealth and sending it out of the area. So vast amounts of wealth and resources are extracted and sent out of state to the feudal lords, and this is not an accident. You need to hold that idea firmly in your head. They're keeping you. They let you keep just enough not to freaking starve to death. It's the old feudal system, except it's been updated for modern audiences. Now this, hey, pay attention in the back of the room. This is deliberately crafted policy. They plan for this. Now, this is how much wealth this county or city or state is generating every year. And this is how much we're going to take. And this is how much we're going to leave behind for the peasants to live on for the next year. They plan for this result. They plan to achieve it, and they do achieve it. So, time for a new Grot video. Listen carefully to what he says.
This city is barely scraping by. We can't afford to hold violent repeat offenders.
That guy works for your new feudal overseers that you never get to see. He works for them. He wins a rigged, he's handpicked to win a rigged election. I'm going to go out there while he's facilitating the looting of your state and your city and your county. He's sent out there to make excuses why they don't have any money to do any of the vital services they're supposed to be performing. You don't understand. We don't have any money. Yeah, they come out and they wear their designer suit. They're perfectly correct there, and they come out and they tell you this shit.
This city is barely scraping by. We can't afford to hold violent repeat offenders.
Yeah. So that's the top of the pension movement coming down. Your feudal overseers that stay out of sight and send out their puppets to extract the loot and leave behind just enough for you to scrape by with in your city, your town, or your county. So that's the top part. Here's the bottom part. So the figurehead politicians, this vile foreign entity, has been rigging elections for us so they can win them. They perfected their role to play whenever Irenas Soroka or Logan Federico gets murdered by some violent repeat offender that's been repeatedly turned loose by the local court system they carefully created. Which, remember, they're doing this kind of thing as a deliberate policy choice. So this is what they come out and tell you. Oh, you're unhappy. Oh, it's terrible. Oh, it's horrible that young woman was murdered. And I'll do something about that just as soon as you let me raise your taxes. Listen.
I'd have to raise your taxes to pay for that.
So these hand-picked politicians who win the rigged and fake and gay elections come out from City Hall and it's done in their expensive designer clothes and they're perfectly correct there. After winning another young person gets murdered by a violent repeat offender, they come out there and they bobo and coo to the news cameras the same script as ours. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, so horrible. It shouldn't be happening. If only we had more gun control in this country. If only the legislature controlled by that other party would let me raise taxes again. We just ain't got the money to currently hold more people in jails here, unfortunately. We're almost broke. Well, we are broke. We're barely scraping by here. Please don't pass a new law asking us to do the impossible. That's the bottom of the country. From the top, they're extracting all those resources and they're sending it somewhere. From the bottom, oh, please don't ask us to do this. We're broke. We're barely getting by. It's so hard. And the people that are facilitating the looting are coming out here and telling you this. So that's the bottom of the prison movement. Top, bottom. Guess who's caught in the middle? Trapped in the middle is you. You and your family and your community. This is by design. This is not organic. This system was planned quite carefully and has been achieving the desired results for decades for the people who crafted and implemented it. Maximum looting of the state and county with violent crime ever on the rise to allow for increased lobbying of certain vile system agenda items. They want you living in fear. They need it. That's how they will exert more control and get you to sacrifice more freedoms and more rights. They have a deliberate agenda they're pursuing by allowing all of this violent crime and drug trafficking and all the other shit that they've been allowing the cities. And they stand there telling you, it's so sad, we got away from us, we can't stop it. That's my next point. They could always have stopped it. They don't want to. They don't want to stop it. They're paid not to stop it. So, how do you break this vile system? Well, I would suggest to you that you watch very carefully what our current president, Donald J. Trump, is doing in places like Washington, D.C., Chicago, Illinois, Portland, Oregon, and Memphis, Tennessee, and soon other American cities in which this vile entity I've been discussing has been in actual control for some time now. Watch what he's doing. Oh, and there's pictures. Trump looks really pissed in this picture. I love this picture. You can tell that he knows. He knows what they've been doing. He not. I try to use shocking language. Try to break through the programming and wake people up. Okay, I'm about to say something shocking. The people who run these cities have been allowing the bodies to pile up in the morgues. They allow this to happen. They want the Arinas Zarutkas. They want the Logan Federicos. They want all the Laken Rileys. They want these bodies stacking up in the morgues. They need them, okay? They've been allowing this. It's not like, oh, that's a tragedy. We really don't want that to be happening. If they didn't want it to be happening, they'd have stopped it by now, okay? So they don't want to stop it. Why? It's all about control, generating more fear, getting more totalitarian agenda enacted. Gun control is one of the biggest ones. So, as long as the general public is buying in to the false, illusory construct that this is a runaway situation where the control of the criminal justice system, we're trying so hard, it's gotten away from us, The local authorities, and they're essentially helpless. They're doing the best they can, like a mad scientist futilely running after, the Frankenstein monster they created that's now running amok. They're trying to stop it. Okay. They can send out people like Pritzker, Newsom, and Johnson, and before him, Lori Lightfoot. Then they're posing for the cameras, and they coo that same old script over and over and over again. We need more gun control. Time for more gun control. Time for more gun control. Time for more gun control. Time to get more gun control. You need to talk about crime control. We need more gun control, okay? And they do the same old tired script over and over again while they are allowing people to die. I'm telling you, it's not an accident. Those bodies, they allow those bodies to stack up in the morgue. Innocent Americans. They know these policies are killing people and they don't want to change it because they're trying to get somewhere. This is what people need to understand, as horrible as it is. Okay. They are trying to achieve policy goals by allowing the violent crime in their cities, which, of course, leads to people being killed. That shows you what type of people they are that I'm discussing. Pritzker, Newsom, Kotek. That shows you what they really are. Their heart of darkness. It shows you who they are. They don't want to stop these crimes. They don't want to crack down. They don't want to render their city safe. They are trying to advance a hidden agenda by allowing the violence and the crime. And Trump knows this. So Trump is in the process of fully exposing and destroying the carefully crafted illusion about the violent crime that they've been allowing. There's no Frankenstein monster that's gotten away from them. They've been allowing the bodies to stack up some more as a deliberate policy choice. It's not about money, and it never has been. People like Anya Zaleska and Logan Federico end up in the local morgues because that's what the people in charge want. They continue to allow it. And unless there is direct intervention, they will always continue to allow it. And that's why Trump is taking the actions he's taking. He is literally showing people in these cities, you've been lied to, you've been psyoped, you've been tricked, you've been bamboozled. You know, when he rolls out the election shit, people are going to wake up. It's going to be horrible to realize this. For decades, none of these people have been really winning any elections. They were handpicked to win rigged elections, and they're put in here to literally turn our city into a violent, crime-ridden shithole while lying to us about it and claiming that you know they're doing the best they can. They were deliberately subverting the public safety. They were deliberately subverting American national security. Yeah, and when you do that, when you do things like on behalf of a foreign entity, you are deliberately subverting the national security of the United States of America, and you are placing millions of American citizens at risk by undermining the public safety. You open a door to certain things when you do that. So until people wake up and face this brutal truth, the situation cannot change. This is what Trump is doing now. And he literally has to move in federal agents to protect the American public in these locales because the authorities there, they haven't lost control. He's having to do that because they still have control and they are deliberately choosing not to exercise it in a way that protects the public. They're actually deliberately pursuing policies that place the public at risk. So when the money trails and trials go public, and much of it based on mortgage frauds and other schemes, and the public begins to discover the truth about not only how their elections have been rigged for decades, but how precious lives were allowed to be snuffed out because this was a paid public policy decision. There can never be any going back for the old guard. And that's a beautiful thing. So that was my column from yesterday. There's no going back. You can't go back. How could you ever go back to the way things were before? When Trump comes out and he proves to them, let me show you how in just 2 or 3 weeks I can stop all the crime in this city. Proof it's gone. You can't go back after that. And, you know, even people that don't like Trump, even people that are still brainwashed, they're going to be forced to wake up and say, well, if it could be ended that easily, why weren't the people who were in charge? I mean, Trump had to come in here and briefly take authority away from them and reconstitute the public safety. If he could do it that quickly, what's the excuse of the people who were running my county and my city and my state for the past couple of freaking decades? while thousands and thousands of Americans lost their lives. When you show people that they don't have to live under that cloud of fear, that the people who've been winning rigged, fake, and gay elections have been put over them by a literal feudal Luciferian cult to oppress them and to loot them up the wazoo, to use them as feeders, to use them as sheep to be sheared. And when they find this out and they realize all these hundreds of thousands of Americans, just from fentanyl and all these other illegal drugs, we've lost over 350,000 Americans since 2020. Did you know that? More than 250,000. This is a war being made on the United States of America. It's being made on our citizens. And you have a foreign entity that came in here and started rigging our local elections and handpicking who was going to win, and then handing an agenda to these people that they rigged these elections for. Here's what you're going to do to undermine the public safety in Chicago, undermine the public safety in Washington, D.C., undermine the public safety in Memphis, Tennessee, undermine the public safety in public Oregon. This is what we want to see happen. Here's your agenda. And I go out there and I do it. And so they deliberately now, they set up a revolving door justice system, cashless bail, defund the police, cashless bail, revolving doors over and over again. It's not an accident. It's not organic. They're doing this on purpose. And it's a horrible thing. And it means people are dying, and they're dying. They're dying because these vile people have an agenda, and they want to get there. They want to make things happen. And they're not serving the American public. They are traitors, okay? And they are literal foreign agents. Now, I'm going to say something controversial here. Some people are going to lose their shit when I say this, okay? People have this idea that if we're at war, there's a foreign entity out there declaring war on America by coming in here and surreptitiously getting control of many of our American cities and states by infiltrating us, not just in the federal government, Washington, D.C., but here at the local. I mean, they have control of Illinois, they have control of Portland, they have control of California, they have control of New York. Okay, then they've carefully rigged the elections there and handpicked the people who are currently running those areas of our country. Tell me how the military can't get involved. Go ahead, tell me how they can't do it. You wake up one day, some patriots wake up and like, holy shit, we've been infiltrated. They're running Chicago. They're running New York. They're running Washington, D.C. I mean, just at the state level here. Now I'm even getting into the federal level right now. Just in the state area, they're running all these states and counties and towns. Well, too bad we can't do anything about that. The military can't get involved. That's domestic stuff. Listen, if war is being made on the United States by a hostile foreign entity that came in here, and elections are a key part of our national security infrastructure, they've been rigging our elections to put people over these cities that are pursuing a literal evil anti-American agenda to exploit and harm the public over which they have gained surreptitious control of. How is that not an attack on our nation? How is it not an attack? This is exactly what the freaking military is for. So when people laugh and scoff at the idea of military tribunals, I don't do that because I understand what national security is and what it would mean if there actually is. I believe this is true. There's a foreign entity out there rigging our elections, handpicking our leaders, inserting certain people and put them in charge, and then doing all kinds of ruthless shit to the American people. While they cast illusions, talk about how hard it is, we just can't stop the revolving door at the local courthouse. We're really trying. It's all bullshit. So they're not trying to do jack shit. And Trump is at the point where he's demonstrating that they haven't really been trying. He comes in there and brings just a couple hundred National Guard, a couple hundred federal agents. Boom! The whole freaking crime disappears overnight. They haven't been trying. You understand? They haven't been trying. The reason they haven't been trying is because we live in a feudal system in many of our states now. They hid this from you. The old nobility class got back in charge, and they did it in a really clever way. And they returned us to the feudal system. Lord, serf. That's why, even though America is a vastly wealthy country, which generates a massive amount of wealth every year and has a ton of resources, these people have been in charge of much of our country for a long time now, and every damn year they make sure the vast amount of that wealth is extracted from the serfs and sent overseas, and all the serfs are left just the barest subsistence level to scrape by with. That's the reality of our situation. And they generate a massive illusion to hide what they've been doing. They have a projector that puts up an illusion. You're voting for these people. You asked for this. What are you complaining about? But the projector is losing its power. It's flickering. The illusion is fading and coming back, fading, coming back. People start looking up. Wait a minute. What the hell's going on? What the hell's been going on here? And the illusion fades completely. It's over for them. You understand? They never go back. You can never go back to this. Once Trump is done, and he's shown people in Washington, D.C., and Memphis, and Chicago, and Portland that they've been living under a false illusionary construct. None of this crime had to be happening. They were deliberately being oppressed by evil people who put false, traitorous leadership over them by rigging our elections. And now I believe this is coming soon. Tulsi Gabbard's still getting that briefing ready from the burn bags documents that were found that they discussed at that cabinet meeting back in June or July, I believe it was. That's coming. First, Trump is at the point where they're doing the indictment of John Bolton. They're going to show you where all the communications going on from the international, the head of the cult, to all the local affiliates and how they're communicating with each other. And, selling classified information was a nice side deal for some of them when they were doing all of this. Okay, he's starting to show you that. At the same time, he's showing you that a crime could have been stopped in any of these cities at any time. And the people that have been winning those rigged elections have been deliberately subverting the national security of the United States on behalf of a foreign entity. And that opens a door. I don't give a shit. Somebody like, oh, well, pass the Commodus Act. No. When you've been infiltrated and they set people up over you to deliberately subvert and sabotage your country and place American lives at risk, it is an act of war. The fact that it's happening in fucking Chicago or LA or New York, you think that means our military can't do anything? Our military can't activate the Commodus Act. How about you actually go read what that stuff says? War in the United States has been invaded. They just invaded it surreptitiously, that's all. They weren't obvious about what they were doing. But you can't put the military in here to do something about it. Oh, okay. You keep watching what surfaces. You keep watching what Trump is doing. He is literally showing the foreign entity, oh, well, you'll never free these people. You can't free these people. How big a pair of balls would you have to send in the military to take control away from other federals, even the federal agents, not the military yet, or the military and the federal agents? How big a pair of balls would you have to do that? Send them into Chicago. Then that person doesn't exist. There's nobody with balls big enough to do that. They told themselves this. Trump ain't got the balls. He'd never do it. Again, I bet you a couple months ago, there's still time stuff. We'll probably be able to keep a lid on this crime stuff, in the cities with the puppets that we put in power in these cities and states. We keep a lid on that. Trump's not going to have the balls to send down the National Guard and the feds and just basically seize control away from the local authorities, and then not just they're doing this under they're poisoning the guys of deporting illegals. They're doing all kinds of stuff behind the scenes that you're not seeing. It involves, the Federals and the National Guard being there. They have to do with what they're getting ready to do. Okay. And exposing how the election theft and the mortgage fraud and all the other shit's been going on to maintain the illusion that these people have been winning elections. That's coming. Okay. But first you've got to take control away from them. Well, are we on that agenda? Well, how many states has Trump made? States and towns. He's done it in Washington D.C. He's done Memphis, Tennessee, right now, Chicago, and Portland. He openly talks about the fact he will be doing this soon in other cities. When you've been invaded, a literal hostile foreign entity invaded your country and is oppressing your citizens. They crept in among us, wolves in sheep's clothing. They rigged elections. They put people in charge of these cities that are deliberately sabotaging the cities, sabotaging them, exploiting them, sucking up all the resources and sending them back to their masters overseas. They've been doing all this, okay? And you discover they've been doing this. How do you counter it? How do you counter it? Well, you might be using. The deportations are real. They did let 30 million or whatever it was in here in a short period of time. I'm not saying the deportation effort is fake. I'm saying it's being used as a cover for certain things. And now, as the ICE thing is going on, and they're going in a lot of these cities, and they're getting the illegals, but basically overseers who are running a criminal network for the feudal system. They're taking the overseers out, the Operation Gladio cartel members, the gang members, MS-13, Tren de Agua. They're taking those guys out of the country now. But while they're doing that, they're also now they're dealing with the crime thing. You have them going into Memphis and going into all these other states and cities because, and when I'm gonna put it in a stark way so you understand what I'm about to say. If if a hostile foreign entity's been rigging elections for decades, and they've set up a machine in these cities, and the machine is just running on its own to put people like Pritzker and Newsom in charge, and they loot the state and they place the public at risk. And they're only there because a hostile foreign entity crept in here to place Americans at risk. That is an act of war. It's an act of war. What else would you call it? If you become aware that this act of war has happened, but the American public isn't ready to hear this yet, and a lot of them would not believe you back in 2017 if you told them this is what was going on. Okay, how are you going to position yourself to end the endless? How are you going to do it? I think you would have to be a little clever. How you went about doing it. How you turn that projector off, okay? And you have to do it on various different fronts. The mass migration front, the forever wars front, the crime in our cities and why they are allowing it, front. Okay, and the massive NGOs and all the money being looted out of the treasury, various financial, domestic, international. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of very different fronts at the same time. But it all has one central thing: ending the endless. You've got to turn the projector off. They can't have the endless continuing. That's what he said. It's the endless illusion that allows them to do all the shit they've been doing. They can only do it as long as that illusion is working, and it's up. You turn the projector off, or you start cutting some of the power, and the image starts flickering. Okay, and puts them in a bad position. I think we're at the point now where we're not at the end yet. We're probably in the middle. Things are being surfaced. People are realizing, wow, they really have been allowing this crime in these cities. Why have they been allowing that? And everybody's known for years. I really question whether these Democrats are winning honest elections. Trump's at the point where he's taking the country by the hand, and he's led it to the point that he's leaning it to somewhere. He's at the point now he can start showing them. The crime that's in your cities could have been stopped at any time. They didn't want to stop it. And right after I get done restoring the public safety and enough of these cities, I'm going to roll out the election evidence. I'm going to show you that the sons of bitches that were handpicked to win these fake and rigged and gay elections in your cities and your states and your counties, they were put there by a hostile foreign entity. And that's why I'm putting all these people on trial with a military tribunal. Now, I'll leave you with that thought. I've gone for 2 hours and 15 minutes. Thank you for all 1,663 of you that are watching live right now. You've been watching Dangerous with Coffee with Brian Cape. Enjoy your weekend here in the New American Golden Age. Enjoy any future indictments that are coming. I'm talking about the Bolton indictment last night, and I see a comment in that thread I just read to you. What good is it keep talking about how nothing can stop what is coming when what is coming never comes? You still have people out there with that attitude. Bolton gets indicted yesterday. Somebody that's deeply invested in how this is being unfolded right now. It's not going to stop with Bolton. But you're always going to have people out there with an attitude, and they want to sound clever. It doesn't matter if nothing can stop what is coming when what is coming never comes. That sounds clever. Okay. But after each new indictment gets unsealed, you got to see people out there saying, oh, is that all? Oh, is that all? Oh, is that all? Okay, yeah. You always have people with that attitude. I'm telling you, be happy, warriors, okay? It took a long time and a lot of maneuvering behind the scenes to get where we are right now. When Trump could begin the indictments, it took them 10 months. Okay, I'll close with this thought. It took them 10 months to get enough control. Trump was never going to go early. The fact that they unsealed that Comey indictment, and they unsealed that Letitia James indictment, and they unsealed that Lisa Cook indictment, and now they've unsealed the John Bolton indictment. That tells me that about 3 weeks ago, let's say a month and a half ago, Trump got together, probably that cabinet meeting at the end and in September. Trump got together with Pam and Cass and Dan and said, okay, I think we have enough control now. We can start moving on some of this. This is, I keep telling people this. In January, Trump was coming in. He's still in January. He only had control maybe 25%. Okay, I think right now they probably have somewhere around 55 to 60% of the federal government under their control at this point. After 10 months of Trump doing all the radical shit you've watched him do for the last 10 months, he may have between 50 and 60% of control at this point. And so he and Pam and Cass and Dan, all these others, they got together and they said, okay, it's time. I think we have enough control. Now, at long last, 10 years after he came down that escalator, now we can start. And so the indictments are now happening. And they're going to continue to happen. And I got two more weeks left. And what October? Now, I really believe this. We're going to see more indictments in the next couple of weeks. We're going to see maybe Brennan. We're going to see some top people. We're going to get indicted. The indictment's going to be unsealed. The country's ready now. Not only is the country ready, Trump has enough functional control that he can have confidence that if he gives the go order, this will succeed. I've said many times, Trump is not interested in going down, mounting the white charger and looking all noble and heroic and drawing his saber and leading his forces right into the guns and going down in a bloody blaze of glory. That's not Donald Trump. Donald Trump wants to win. He will not move until he knows he will win. And that's why I'm very excited, because if they're rolling out the Comey indictment and they're rolling out the Letitia James indictment, the mortgage fraud, keep your eye on that. I'm telling you. People think that's just oh God, that's how you can get them on mortgage fraud. Listen, that's going somewhere. We study that, how these people set up schemes and stuff. Not just to enrich themselves, but to exchange bribes. Mortgage fraud plays a big role in that. We're going to start seeing more indictments of Russiagate people. Brennan's out there, McCabe, Andrew Weissman. There's so many people out there. Can't wait to see who's next. So God bless you and thank you for watching. I will see you all on Monday morning at 10 a.m.